Happy Monday morning to you. Question of the day. Will Minnesota Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer be relieved of his duties, just said duty, after two straight soul-crushing defeats for the Vikes, giving away two 14-point leads at Baltimore, and just a myriad of mistakes costing you that game in overtime against the Ravens, and also losing at home against something called Cooper Rush. Again, at home, prime time, and then that Cowboys team just got shredded by Hey Teddy and the Broncos. So will Zimmer ultimately pay with his job today? Vikings are currently 3-5, 3 games behind the Packers in the NFC North division, second place in the division, pending on the Bears' action Monday night against the stupid Steelers. They're also now 9th in the NFC wildcard race, with the Falcons rising up. Vikings do have the head-to-head against Carolina and Seattle, and also play San Francisco, who is not looking too good in 3 weeks. But overall, not really hyped about the situation. It just feels like this team has massively underachieved. They have talent at every single level. And yes, even without Pierce and without Daniil, without Harrison, they definitely should have won that game in Baltimore. Just giving away tight games, like the Bengals, like the Cardinals, like the Browns, like the Cowboys, like the Ravens, and then turning easy wins into tight games like the Lions and the Panthers. And the last 2 weeks against the Cowboys and Baltimore have frankly been inexcusable. And if the Vikings do fire Zimmer in season, it will be on a Monday, because Tuesday is coaching game planning day. Wednesday is the first day of practice for a Sunday game install day. So if it's going to be fired during the season, you got to start it off during the week, especially since your bye is already out of the way. And we'll know if Zimmer misses his Monday mid-morning press conference, because that would be kind of doing him dirty. He does his pressers like, we're getting ready for the Chargers. And then in the afternoon, deuces. Because someone has to take responsibility for this. The Vikings came into the season with too high of expectations. Super Bowl or bust. Spielman, Cousins, Zimmer, everyone. And on paper, on purpose, this team has a top 10 roster easily, even with all of the injuries. But 3-5 is a disaster for this team. But they play close games. That's the problem. That's the problem. This team should not be playing this close a game. They should have stepped on the Ravens' throat and won that game by 3 scores, but they didn't. And every single fan, when it was 17-3, or even after the second half kick return by Kenny Nwangu when it was 24-10, you're just like, they're going to screw this up. You don't want that feeling, because if we feel it, the coaching staff feels it, the players definitely feel it, and that is just a toxic frame of mind that you got to get rid of, and getting rid of the head coach is the easiest way to do that. But Zimmer isn't on the field. It's the players that aren't making tackles. It's the player that quit. Okay, so who's in charge of managing and motivating personnel? That's the head coach. That's why I love the term manager versus head coach, because I think baseball and soccer get it right. Because in football Americano, you manage the game, you manage the clock, and you manage your players. That's your job. Those are the 3 core tenets of your job. Not X's and O's, not calling your precious defense. Oh, by the way, your defense sucks anyway. Congrats on another 500 yards allowed game. Just 400 yard games this season. It's great. And if your players don't want to play hard for you, they don't want to get full effort for you, the head coach, that's a head coaching problem. It is. And Zimmer has been the head coach here since 2014. And longevity can breed complacency. How many times has Kendricks and Barr and Everson and Harrison, etc., heard the same pep talks, the same pregame speeches, the same adjustments, the same postgame? We'll just keep at it and keep working, blah, blah, blah. Over the last 8 years. How many times? Eventually, it just, they drown it out. It turns into white noise. A new voice is needed. And a coach being fired midseason can shock a locker room, because most of the players have only known Zim during their time here with the Vikings. And if the boss, El Jefe, the gaffer, gets sacked, that means that you biatches are on notice too. It's like, hey, if he can get fired, no one is safe, man. And new coach, new regime, they may not want you. Maybe you don't fit into their scheme. Maybe you don't do this. Maybe you don't do that. Maybe it's time for you to put on some good tape for this team or the next team. And hey, I don't care. If it gets good play, motivated play out of individual players, I don't care about motivations. If it's for the team, if it's for themselves, I don't care. Because again, this team is way too talented just to keep giving away. That's what's the most frustrating thing. Like I've said, I would rather just get dump trucked by 40 points. Because then you know. Because these close games are the only thing that's it's keeping Zim in the job. Because Wilf's ownership, they're looking at it as well, we're really close. I mean, close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. The reason that the Vikings are losing these close games is because of game management, especially at the end of halves, conservative offense, especially after you get a 1-point lead, and the defense has been garbage. All three of those have to do with Zim. And also, the interim head coach bounce is real. Look at Leslie in 2010. Teams can get momentum from the shock of firing their head coach. And the Viking situation is not horrible. Like we said, they're second in division. They're ninth in the wild card. They have 5 division games left. They have a mini bye week 14 after Thursday Night Football against the Steelers. That's a very winnable game at home. But again, so is the Cowboys on Sunday night. Now, I'm still bitter. Whatever. And then 3 of the last 5 games are at home. And we've seen what this team is capable of this year. This offense can be one of the best in the NFL. You have superstars all over the place. If you get it solidified up front on the offensive line in pass protection, as well as taking the governor off of the engine of this Ferrari. Absolutely. Like, you don't think for a second that Jefferson and Cousins and Dalvin and Kubiak do you think they want to operate like this? Huh? Like, with Jefferson getting 2 catches, 5 targets a game, Kirk Cousins check down, long development plays, even though you don't have the protection, because the Wink Martindale is going to blitz on 3rd down, so you don't have an outlet. Is that exactly what you think that they want to do on offense, huh? Open things up, score 40 a game, and then hold them to under 40. That's all you need. By the way, this offense that looked really bad against the Ravens, touchdown, punt, touchdown. Yeah, they still put up 31 points. But if the Vikings want any hope for this season or even the immediate future, because you have to keep these young players engaged, Zimmer's got to be gone. And it's got to be today. Be your thoughts on our thoughts. Will Mike Zimmer be fired today? Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Venmo, pay that man his money. But until next time, Skol, production value.